All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the weekend market analysis. Right, we are bullish. Let's go over to a weekly chart. I've been calling it 4 weeks now, guys, since we broke this trend line. We're bullish, guys. We had a great week. Tech is absolutely unstoppable. I hope you guys played that Microsoft pick from last week. Microsoft's been killing it. AMD's been killing it. Super bullish week. All right, so let's start off with this SPY chart here, weekly chart. I want you guys to notice this right here, this weekly trend line. It can act as resistance. We are pretty extended. It's very possible that we top out here and either see some sideways action, eat more time off the clock to go higher, or potentially, it's very possible that we come down back to the bottom of this channel, and we have to keep that in mind. It's not necessarily short the top of the channel on site type of move, but just that awareness that can happen. We are at a point where that we are at another resistance point, and we shouldn't maybe be so quick to buy every single dip and be very bullish as we were this week. Okay, so if we go down to a daily chart here, I do want you guys to notice, however, this is a strong market, guys. This is a market that is not having any red days. When a market is going sideways or gaps down and you see all these candles are green, they all end the day green. Even when we gap down, we end green. That's a very bullish market. When you're gapping up and you see red, that's typically a sign of a weaker market, right? If you gap up and see red, that's a rejection, right? That's a rejection of the gap. Market didn't like that, right? So this is a bullish market. It's also very possible that we eat time off the clock or even just push right through, guys. Like tech is on fire right now. If these other markets start to follow tech, you never know, guys. So just keep both scenarios in mind here, okay? And I just want to look at this week's price action a little bit, and just, I said last week to be watching these gaps, right? Watch how we act around these gaps. And so hopefully you guys were watching these areas. As you can see, early in the week here, this was the first day right here of trading action, the 11th. And we actually gapped down. But hopefully you guys noticed we opened, right above that gap. And the first hourly candle was a break up. And that should be seen as nothing but bullish, right? The next candle, not a rejection, it's a retrace. So hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of that, see that the market was bullish, get in some bullish trades. And it continued, we went back and forth in this range right here. Eventually closed right near the top of the range and gapped above the range, and we went on Friday, guys. Friday was a nice bullish day. We broke up, and there's still room here, guys, right? We have till 313.50, 314 if we hit it later in the week. So we can continue bullish here for a while before we may see pullback. We are breaking out of a multi-day range, so don't be surprised if Monday and Tuesday, even Wednesday, is sideways to bullish. And then just be watching around this 314 area, guys, how the market's reacting. Maybe get out of long swings, take some profits, and yeah, just see what happens there. All right, let's go look at the indices now. Start with the IWM, small caps. These are riskier stocks, right? They have broken out, and they've been going sideways, right? They haven't been rejected. They've stayed in this crucial zone, as you can see. Other weeks, they had not stayed in the crucial zone, right? This is 2 weeks in a row closing inside this crucial zone. I think the IWM is looking to push this last pivot high, okay? Can it go sideways for another week or two? Absolutely. It doesn't have to go next week, but the main point is this is looking bullish, not looking bearish. It's looking to go higher in the long run, okay? The XLF, the financials. This is something that if it's looking bullish, guys, you don't want to be short the market, okay? and this is looking bullish. We said it broke out last week, broke out of this, wedge-ish pattern, and here we go, retrace to the bottom and come back up. I want you guys to see when you draw these trend lines, right? When you draw these trend lines using a line chart, right? Look at how they act. This week comes right down to the trend line. You can see it better on a daily chart. Right down to the trend line. Holds it, acts as support, and now it's back up. And this is doing nothing but going sideways, guys. Look, gap down and green candles. It's buying the bounces. Everyone's buying the bounces, okay? It's a bullish market. I still think that this is looking to test the all-time highs. Next week could be the week. We will see. Let's look at the Dow Jones Transportation Average. This is a good market leading indicator. It is lagging a bit. We said it broke this red zone, but it had this next zone from this breakdown candle high right above it. It found resistance. It came down. So I want to show you guys some areas on the downside here that should hold for this index, to remain bullish. So the first one is obviously this breakdown candle high, or break up candle low, excuse me. So there's a breakup candle low that broke all of these pivots. So that's going to be a huge area, and when you see we've been holding that. And then there's a gap right below it. So this is a kind of convergence of levels that should act as strong support. Should we continue to play around that area. Below that is not quite as bullish, but this is another level that could potentially come down, and we really kind of need to bounce there to remain bullish whatsoever, in my opinion. If we get below there, we're going down to this gap, and then probably down to the end of this, the bottom of this range here. So really this first zone is what I'm looking for if the market's going to remain very strong for the DJT to be holding, okay? On the upside, you have this weekly zone, this red zone. We closed once above it. Now we're back below it. Can we play around with it for 2 or 3 more weeks? Absolutely. Do I expect this to break above this range next week? Maybe. It looks a little weak. It looks like it might not have the strength to do that next week. But anything is possible, right? But I'd definitely be watching this top zone and then this zone here at 10,800 area to be the range for the Dow Jones Transportation Average in the next week or two. The SMH, I've been playing a lot of these stocks, the semiconductor stocks, AMD, MU, and I can just show you these really, really quick. AMD has been incredibly strong, finally got to the top of this trend line. It's just looking great. It can see some pullback here. One reason I wanted to show you this AMD, this has been one of the semiconductor leaders, and it is now at resistance and closed the day below that resistance trend line. It can see a little bit of pullback, in the next week. So it's very entirely possible for the market to see some pullback. Don't be surprised by it. It doesn't mean it's bearish. It doesn't mean you should go shorting everything, but we could see some pullback, right? MU, had a couple good days off this bounce zone here. I actually swung this off this zone. Great play. You've got NVIDIA looking, a little weaker, not quite there. QCOM looking very bullish, but again, rejecting these highs, came up to this gap, rejected. Can we see some pullback down to here, down to this gap? Absolutely, guys. So be watching, this area on QCOM, see if it holds. If not, it's probably going to the gap. The SMH could see some pullback, but it's very mixed signals, right? It's very mixed signals, right? We actually got the close of this day at 134.29, and the top of this range on this day here was 134.28, guys. So it closed 1 cent above the range. That has to be a puzzle piece, right? It has to be looked at. Can it come back down into this range, play around some more, pull back in some of these stocks? Absolutely. But this is a long range, right? We've been in it for what, 8, 9 days. And it's broken out by 1 cent. So keep your eye, guys. If this starts to make higher highs, this can bust up quick. And we should be watching more stocks that are strong like QCOM and NVIDIA in this sector, okay? And I just want to show you guys the cues really quick and show you this weekly chart. And you know, the next trend line resistance on the weekly, this is not drawn perfectly, but it's essentially from this pivot up to these pivots, this pivot. I just want to show you guys this has a lot of room, right? This has, $2018, right? 17, right in that area. It's got a lot of room long term, okay? This doesn't necessarily have to go parabolic up to this line, but I just want to show you guys technology is very strong right now. It's in a large breakout, okay? So between the ebbs and flows, the pullbacks, the rallies, just realize that tech is very strong right now. You see the Qs and you see the SMH, two big tech sectors are breaking out big time, okay? You see the XLF, the financials that are the structure of the market, right? Their financials, their banks, right? They're doing incredibly well. So this is a strong market, guys, and it's strong until it's not, right? Let it give you that sign. We're near some resistance on certain things, but that doesn't mean anything. This is a strong trend, so just play it until it gives you that sign that it's over, okay? So that is pretty much it for the indices. The picks real quick, I just want to go over Microsoft. I gave 150 and 155 as targets. You can see where we closed the week, 149.99. It doesn't get much better than that. I was swinging Microsoft and I was playing it, day trading it on these breakout days like this day here, and Friday, of course. Yeah, I mean, this was the Friday breakout. I said this was one of the strongest looking stocks. Look for this to just go. And I mean, look at this, guys. All you had to do was buy Microsoft Monday and hold it till Friday, and you had some nice gains, okay? Great pick. So this week's picks, I don't have anything quite as amazing as Microsoft's setup. Microsoft was looking really good. I do have some picks here from sectors that are relatively strong. I'm looking at the industrial sector specifically, so some different picks this week. First one I'm going to be looking at is Caterpillar, okay? Caterpillar has been in this long bull pullback, right? As you can see, a long period of pulling back, letting time catch up to price, letting the sellers have their fun for a bit. And, this stock has actually broken out. You can see it broke out back in this week. So it's broken out again, right? It's broken out from this more sideways channel, right? And the next real area on the weekly is this area around 157 to 160. And so you can see it's acting as support now. It's now closed on the line from above, which means it's acting as support. This is an up move followed by a retracement. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to happen next week that it gets to 160. This could be more of a swing play it a couple months out. Give it a week or two or three to even make this move up here. But this is looking very bullish if you're into swings, or if you just want to day trade the breakouts, or maybe just do a short-term swing. This looks really good, guys. It's really got a lot of room up to this area, and it's holding this breakout zone well, right? And if you look at industrials, they are clearly leading this market, right? And so look for Caterpillar to continue with industrials to the upside. Industrials are breaking out, right? Caterpillar should be a good pick, especially for a swing or intraday breakout trades. Another one is Honeywell. Honeywell looks very good, guys. Had a breakout. You can see support. We actually closed above last week's close. We had a green week, so we've closed well above this resistance line. This is looking bullish, guys. I would do long swings on Honeywell. This thing looks to go parabolic. That's what I think. Definitely look for bullish on Honeywell. Conocophillips, this is from the energy sector. The energy sector looks like it may be trying to bottom. Okay, so this is more of a, I'm looking for stocks that are looking stronger than the energy sector itself. This is one of them. So if the energy sector is bottoming and it's finally going to come up with the market, this is the weekly breakout I see. You've got a pivot here and the pivot here. You've got touches. You can see this is a respected trend line, right? Touch here, big rejection. You can see this is respected, okay? We've had a breakout. We've had a retracement down to the gap that was barely not filled right here. And we've had a nice reaction away, right? A nice retracement from this up move, breakout of trend with a hammer, right? Look for this to go higher, okay? It might not go a ton higher. Look for, these pivots here at 62. This is more of a weekly trade that I'm looking for. I think this week, ConocoPhillips, if the market continues higher, if energy starts to bottom, look for this to make higher highs, okay? It's not the best trade in the world. It's not something making new all-time highs, but it's definitely a breakout that I'm watching that I noticed, and that looks very good with these 2 weekly candles. And lastly, but definitely not least, I have Lockheed Martin from the industrial sector as well. And look at this thing, guys. Really, really, really bullish breakout, okay? Very bullish. We've got this trend here. You can see this area was very, very strong. We had reaction. What is that? Like 8 touches, right? And you've got touch. This is a very well respected trend line, right? So definitely be looking for Lockheed to be another good long-term swing right now. On the downside, you'd want it to hold this breakup area, I would say. That would even be a little much. I would want it to hold these previous pivot high closes around 388. So if it does retrace at 388 and is holding very well, look to buy Lockheed Martin. Look to go long on that. This will be good for long-term swings. It's not necessarily the fastest mover, but looking very bullish, guys. Those are my top picks for the week. I hope this helped you guys. I hope you guys learned how to read charts a little bit better, how to draw trend lines, how to look for important levels, all that. If you did enjoy, please share it with people. Drop that like, drop the subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great weekend.